Hey everybody, it's Longhorn Confidential for Tuesday, November 19th. I'm Danny Davis, the American-Statesman, joined today by Thomas Jones, David Eckert. Let's get right to it. Texas slated this evening will still be ranked number three, seeded number second when the College Football Playoff Committee releases its most recent um, projections. So obviously the CFP committee, they still think Texas is a national title contender. However, that may not be the complete conversation here in Longhorn land after Quinn Ewers, a quarterback of the Texas football team, threw for a season low 176 yards at Arkansas this past weekend. Should be noted that he led Texas to a 20-10 win over the rival Razorbacks, so that's worth talking about. But on Monday, I'm going to read this quote from Michael Taft. Michael was asked about the pressure that Quinn has faced as a quarterback, and he said, "quote He's handled it amazingly. To be in that spot, I truly think that the quarterback at the University of Texas holds, besides Governor Abbott, holds one of the highest powers in the state of Texas. If you do research on whose name is most often brought up in the state of Texas, I'd argue Quinn Ewers' name is brought up the most. That is a lot of power that comes with it, and he does an excellent job of it. He doesn't let the pressure ever get to him." So it seems Michael still believes in his quarterback. Some fans may not, and we'll go around this panel. David, we'll start with you because you wrote about this a little bit in your film review on Sunday. Can this Texas team win a national championship with Quinn Ewers as its quarterback?
I'm going to hedge a little bit here. I don't think they can win a national championship with this version of Quinn Ewers. The one that you got Saturday, I'm sorry if you get that performance from your quarterback, you're not beating, the five or six or seven top teams in that CFP poll that's going to come out later tonight. It's, I mean, he's just missing open throws down the field. And granted, he made some nice throws, to counterbalance that, but I don't think he gave you enough to expect to beat a truly elite team. However, we've seen Quinn Ewers play well. You know what I mean? This is not a situation where you have this guy who's just never done it. I mean, he has. So I think you can say, look, he's not playing well enough right now. I guess while also retaining the belief that he can play well enough because you've seen it. And whether it's health, whether it's confidence, whether it's whatever, something I think has got to click for them between now and the college football playoff if they want to win a national championship with Quinn Ewers. But yeah, so I guess I'm a little wishy-washy there, but with this version, I don't think what they're getting is good enough.
Thomas, is Quinn Ewers a title caliber, championship caliber quarterback in your eyes?
I mean, who am I to question the second most powerful man in the state? Look, last year, Michigan won a national title with J.J. McCarthy, who didn't throw a lot and didn't get a lot of stats, but they had the defense to win a championship. I think Texas defense is at that level. So could they win with even this version of Quinn? They could, but man, it'd be a lot easier if they could get last year's version. It'd be a lot easier if they had a team that was scoring 35, 40 points a game. Um, Texas has played one team that's CFP worthy at this point, and they got smoked by Georgia with 30-15. Quinn he's got to get going. I mean, they can't just expect to score 20, 27 points a game and win. I don't think that'll work in the playoff. But man, that Texas defense is good enough. They don't need that much from the quarterback position, but they need a little bit more than what they're getting from Quinn right now.
I think Texas can. They have the defense to win it. I think, as David alluded to, we've seen Quinn play up to that caliber that we're looking for, and that we believe he can. I mean, this is a team that became a couple inches away. I mean, Thomas, you were on the sideline, and the A.D. Mitchell catch was just a few inches away from
Oh.
hauling that in and then beating Washington in the semifinals and reaching the championship game last year. So obviously that Quinn exists. But the way he's playing, this Texas team probably can't win a shootout with a team, but I don't think they need to with that defense. And you just look across the country. I'm just not convinced that there's a team that there isn't a Michigan out there this year. I mean, Oregon's number one across the board, and they just barely beat a Wisconsin team that has a quarterback who is a lot less talented than Quinn Ewers is. So I just don't believe that there's a team that is going to come come in and face Texas, and you can just automatically assume is going to put up 45 against Texas and win a shootout. I think Texas can win a 28 to 24 game with any team in the country. I just don't believe there's a juggernaut team out there that there was last year with that Michigan machine that we saw last season. Granted, I think some things had to, excuse me, go correctly for this Texas team. It really helped them if they got that buy-in as one less team they had to face in the playoff. But I think if Quinn, sure, you're not going to be able to throw 50-yard bombs down the field, but that's why Steve gets paid what Steve gets paid, is to devise a game plan that works for the quarterback he has and the capabilities this quarterback has. Lean on that defense and see where it takes you. But
they're playing a 3 high safety, Danny. He can't throw deep.
Whatever it is, figure something out. But I think Quinn's fine. I think the Arch thing is not happening until next year. And so Texas has to figure out what they can do. And this Texas defense is obviously talented enough to take them pretty far. They have pieces on offense. So figured out Steve, figured out defense, and let's see where this Texas team can go. David, kind of looked like you wanted to jump back in there. I kind of look at lying in wait there. Or what else you got to say?
Yeah, I will say, like, and it kind of rebuts my own point a little bit, but we've talked all of this season about Quinn Ewers not throwing the ball down the field, right? And why that's a problem or why that isn't a problem, whatever. Dylan Gabriel at Oregon doing the exact same thing. Doesn't throw the ball down the field. He's more efficient, and they've been better offensively in general up there. But you can win with the style of quarterback that Quinn Ewers is attempting to play. They just need him to do it a little bit better.
That's a good point.
We'll see if he can do it better this weekend against Kentucky. Now, we just went to media availability on Monday, and I don't want to call the Texas Longhorns a bunch of liars, but I had a hard time believing a lot of the stuff they were saying during their press conference. Steve referred to this Kentucky game as the biggest game of the year. Gunner home, called it the most important game of the year. And on the surface, I understand your biggest game is your next game, but this is also Kentucky. This is a 4-6 team, 1-6 in conference play, but upsets do happen. So, David, we'll start with you. The lip service aside and being not giving other teams bulletin board material, what is one reason that this Texas team should legitimately be concerned about Kentucky?
Yeah, I guess I would just say that Texas, still has this gene where once in a while they'll just give the ball away 2 or 3 times, and I feel like I said that a lot on here when we're talking about why they might lose to a team they shouldn't lose to, but that's the number one ingredient, So, if Texas has one of those games where they give it away 2 or 3 times, that's a problem. And Kentucky's defense isn't awful. I would kind of describe it as fine. They've got real problems on offense. They can't run the ball. They're Brock Vandagriff, the quarterback from Georgia, hasn't worked out. They can't protect him, so they're dysfunctional on offense, but defensively it's fine. And if you kind of pair that with a couple of short fields for that offense that isn't great, maybe something weird could happen. But I'm not convinced that that's particularly likely.
I do think, as you said, Kentucky is fine on defense. They posted some decent numbers with their red zone defense. Now, granted, some of those numbers don't always tell the whole story, but they are number 6 in red zone defense. So Texas has to take advantage of its opportunities in the red zone. If they're settling for field goals, it does leave the door open for Kentucky. And if Barry and Brown can play this weekend to, bust a long touchdown or something like that, and make this a game that shouldn't be a game. So I would say the red zone defense is a reason for Texas to be concerned. TJ, when you look at this Wildcat team, what kind of sticks out to you?
2 reasons. J.J. Weaver is a really good pass rushing outside linebacker, and Deion Walker on the inside is a probably a first-round NFL pick at defensive tackle. I think they arguably are the best front 7 Texas has seen for sure since Michigan, maybe Georgia too. It's a really good front 7. Now, y'all are right. They don't do a whole lot offensively, but we've seen good front 7s kind of wreck this Texas defense in recent weeks. And if they can get pressure on Quinn, they get a few sacks, those feet get happy. We get some picks from Quinn because he's under pressure. that's the recipe for an upset. That's really the only thing that concerns me.
And Kentucky does have, that Ole Miss win on the resume, and they played Tennessee within 10, played Vanderbilt within a score, obviously played Georgia within 1 point. So
Yeah.
they can challenge a good team on the road. They've proven that in the past. I just don't expect it to happen this weekend, but we'll see. That's why you play the game. Anyway, Saturday will be senior day. Perhaps the last home game at DKR. We'll have to see what the playoff committee says if Texas does reach the playoff, if that there's a possibility of another home game. But since it is senior day, we'll do some senior shout outs. Thomas, who was one senior that you just kind of want to give a shout out to, give some love to, that you've enjoyed covering, enjoyed watching? Who gets a senior shout out from you?
Man, I really like Gunnar Helm. Just he's such an example. Before this season, he wasn't really on the NFL radar, but he's paid his dues. He's in his fourth year. He's been a role player until this season. And now he what leads the team in receptions? Is that right? He's for sure Quinn's favorite target. Gunnar Helm has become a next level player. He's projected a second, third round pick right now. He's got an NFL body type, and he's shown this year an NFL game. So it's kind of fun to see someone develop as a player like that. I think Sark and his staff can point to Gunnar, to any other potential tight ends, and say, look what happens. You come to Texas, you know, you develop. And I think I'm going to enjoy watching him at home this weekend.
David?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Alfred Collins. I just think, you look at again, just for a lot of the same reasons that TJ just talked about Gunnar Helm. Like, here's a guy who it wasn't always easy for, and he had to wait his turn behind some really good players. And look, I mean, Alfred Collins is the top-ranked interior defensive lineman who plays regularly, according to Pro Football Focus, in the country. So, not only has he kind of stepped in for that outstanding defensive tackle duo that Texas had last year, he's become, that type of defensive tackle for them, just this dominant force. And, I remember a lot of people being concerned about what this Texas run defense would look like without those guys, and he's made sure that it's been outstanding once again. So he gets my vote.
I'm gonna go with Jake Majors. He's probably may not be an NFL talent, may not be a All-American, All-Conference guy, but he's the heart of that offensive line as a center. And I think it's been impressive that he has started 51 straight games for this Texas team. That obviously started with the Herman era. It's continued through the Sarkisian era. And I think this is impressive that two coaching staffs, more Sark than Herman, but obviously the Herman staff signed him, have just trusted him with being the guy in the middle of that offensive line, working with the various quarterbacks that he's worked with over the years. And, he will tie Blake Gideon for fourth place on the career starts list this weekend. He will tie Colt McCoy the weekend after. 55 is the school record, so if they can make the conference championship game and make the postseason, he has a chance to tie or break that record, which is held by two Longhorns. So that's just impressive. It's impressive for a guy who I think there was high hopes for when Tom Herman's staff signed him, but I don't think anyone on that staff thought that this was a 51 start player, and he has exceeded expectations and just been a consistent force on that offense. And I think that says a lot. Who cares what happens down the road? He's had himself a very solid college career at Texas, and I think that I know Steve obviously appreciates him, but I hope Texas fans appreciate what he's contributed at that position over these 51 starts that he's made. And he's been a good talk for us at media sessions this past couple of weeks. He's been a lot more relaxed and a lot more willing to mix it up with us, and I've enjoyed talking with him. So that's selfishly, I'll give Jake some love.
He's almost as verbal as Alfred Collins.
He's a lot more verbal than Alfred, but Alfred's gotten a lot better as he's gotten more comfortable with us this year. But that's gonna do it for us. Statesman.com throughout the week for all your Kentucky run up, Kentucky coverage on Saturday. On Second Thought podcast drops on Thursday with Seg Golden. I think I'm making an appearance on that this week. So if you love these dulcet tones, tune into that. We appreciate you watching us wherever you watch us, whether it's station.com or YouTube, listening to us wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to tune in tonight to find out where Texas is ranked in the college football committee. And yeah, statesman.com throughout the week. Appreciate it. Deuces. Oh yeah, Montana. Beat the Cats. Bye.